How do you package that? So some part of it is just packaging yourself. What are some things you've been doing? Maybe there's some things you've been working at your kid's school, at a community project that you could start to say, I've been doing marketing, or I'm a community organizer. So some of it is just packaging what you've been doing, and letting people see those organizational skills or those promotion skills or operation skills that you have. That would be the first thing. To what Gary was saying earlier to his team here, I think you kind of have to keep bugging people. You have to sort of get in their face a little bit. And to the story we were talking about earlier, you gotta, do some homework, do some, look for companies where you see some of the leadership. In your case, maybe you'd look for some women leaders who maybe are moms, and maybe you'd find a conference where a couple of them are speaking, and go ask them afterwards, like, hey, could I show you my resume? Is there someone on your team who could look at it? So try to do some homework and look for people who you think might just have a conversation with you and give you some feedback. The last thing I'd say is I feel better about the corporate world, that they're recognizing that there's great talent in mothers who've been taking care of their kids and not in the workforce. And so a lot of companies are creating job shares. I think with this notion of the quote gig economy, there's a lot more happening to give people project work. So maybe the first thing is, maybe your first thing won't be to get a job there, but can you take a project on that would allow them to see what you're capable of on a project component? And then it's a way to start to get them to know you and you to know them. I really think that's going to be the future of hiring anyway, where more of us in the corporate setting are going to be doing these kind of limited run assignments to see if we want to work together.
Okay.
Karen, I'm going to jump in here. Let me tell you what stands out for me. I think you need to focus on a couple things. One, as somebody who's been selling things that other people don't want to buy his whole life, the biggest thing, this is an important point that we need to tap into, Andy. The biggest thing that I will tell you is do not try to sell somebody who's not sellable.
Okay.
When something that is so right, like what you're saying, like I've always thought I was so right, and history would prove me out right, and that's been my career. But the problem is when you're selling something early, people don't see it.
Right.
You are so right. Like you're talking, I'm like, man, I want the next 30 people I hire at Vayner to be that, because managing a family is a skill and a half that maps so well to people management is everything. Like I'm in.
Yeah, they're doing so many things at once.
Yeah, so we've had conversations here about this because we think it's a white space. But I promise you that an enormous amount of organizations, call it 99, aren't interested in what you just said at this moment. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. I just know the game right now. There's a lot of pushback. What most people do, and whether it's 90% or 70%, it's relevant about 99 to 70, but I promise you it's higher than anybody would like to think. It's the sad truth of the reality of the situation. Regardless of that, most people, when they are so right on something so right, get ideological. They go into, I'm going to prove to that no that this is right, and they punch against a wall. Versus spending all their time, to Beth's earlier point, of finding the yeses. And by the way, Beth and Linda Boff and Paul Markham were my yes in 2011. That was a big company named GE in a world that I looked around, and they said yes to social and Vayner and made an enormous bet on me. And so did Pepsi and Bonin and many, many other. I didn't spend a second. And Karen, I did not spend a second pitching my services to anybody that showed signals to me that they were in the no business. I wasn't ideological. I went to where there was opportunity. Beth is unbelievably right, and I will triple down on it. More homework on the people that are ideologically aligned with you on the importance of this. Like, do not get it twisted. It's a sad state of affairs. She's absolutely right that female leadership's going to do a better job for you. They're going to have more empathy. You're going to have a character once in a while like me, cool, but you've got to really look for that, and you got to look for my content that showed you that. I would live on LinkedIn and watch what people are putting out there, and then focus on 13 to 15 organizations that have given you signals that they're open to this, and get slowly but surely, and then when you prove it out that it works at, Google or Schmoogle or Corona or wherever, then you can start building on that case study. I am blown away by people spending all their time trying to convince the no's because it's like a fulfilled prophecy.
Yeah, that's such good advice. I tried to build my reputation as someone who was open to anyone with a good idea. And I have people who would just call me send me a great email, and I'd say, I want to see you. I'm rare.
Me too.
I'm rare.
Yeah.
But to your point, we are out there.
100%.
Okay.
Karen, makes sense, right?
Yes, that is so helpful. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. So awesome.